Look at that fire in the water. The water on fire. Imagine light coming into our soul and setting it on fire. That heat of love. Awakening us to the fullness of living. Awakening us to the fullness of living. A great fire of love. What we need in our world of so much coldness and indifference and violence. The ability to be able to destroy other people's homes and lives and families. It can also happen through very sleek ways of media and ideas. How much we need the fire of truth, of true love. I think we're going to have a great blast of sun in a moment coming out there. Just what the morning is every morning with sunrise. Oops, I didn't see that cat. It just jumped out, it startled me. I think it was hiding someplace and I was getting too close and I hadn't even seen it. So we have always just, it's amazing scripture. The more we get into it, the more we love it. The more we know it, the more we relish it. It's really, like some people have said, the greatest love story, the foundational love story of our lives. One thing that stands out again today is how it's all knitted together. Even though the span might be 1,000 years between events, they're closely knitted together. You almost feel they were done in a way for each other to bring out a love that was being revealed. Maybe that was seen behind the clouds for a while and then came out again. Came out with greater intensity. Remember a few years ago this tree was there and all the birds were coming and landing on it, even when it was dead for a while. And the roots are still there. And then it come to life again. That's probably doubtful for this particular tree. We have the story of Elisha the prophet. And it's hard if you have biblical awareness like the people had at the time of Jesus, not to connect the dots. You know, it's 9 centuries before Jesus, and it's 100 men, and it's 20 barley loaves. They're small. They're probably, I don't know how big they are. Are they bigger than a scone? Than a bread roll? I don't know. If you're hungry, you want 5 of those rather than share one between 5 people. And they had more than enough. And then you're there with Jesus at the multiplication of the loaves, and you realize that there's about 5,000 men and all the women and all the children. I've heard different estimates and commentaries. Some people say 7,000, some people say 8,000, some people say 10,000. Well, the women are very religious, typically. And families that time weren't Chinese style, 1, 2 children. Who knows? It's a guess. But then with 5 loaves, not 20, and 2 fish, and they pick up 12 wicker baskets full. A couple of things hit me in a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of detail in the stories that matter as well. It actually, there was a lot of grass there. I'm not sure if it was green or if it was like it's up now in Mount Arbel, all burnt with the sun, but that works like hay. Still has the nourishment. It's still more comfortable to lie on than to lie on hard ground or rock. One of the details is the resistance to the miracle before and after. And the first resistance is 5 loaves. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. How often do we use the word ridiculous? How many people said that Mother Teresa in Calcutta was helping a few little people, but there were millions that she wasn't helping? And people could say it's ridiculous, it's not meaningful. And yet, by helping those 1-2 people each day that she was able to help, or 3 people, or 4 people, or 5 people, and then sisters came to help her, and they were able to help 10 people or 20 people. But it was still like taking 1 drop of water out of this lake, and your idea is to empty the whole valley of water. So people were saying it's ridiculous, it's useless. But look how God multiplied her 5 loaves. Multiplied the impact of that. Just amazing. The ability to multiply the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. So the rationalistic approach, you know, we have a great gift of reason, and it's very good. Like, we shouldn't try now, at least I shouldn't with my back, try and lift this stone, this basalt stone. It's quite heavy, you know? So, because my back is, when I was 17 or 18 years of age, if I held my knees properly, bent them properly, I could lift that. And I would, and I did, and probably bigger and heavier things. Loading fat pigs on a truck. That's a job for 2 people, because you can't bundle a pig that's fat for slaughter in your like a big bundle of hay, because the pig is impossible to control. So you get another guy across from you to lift up the pig on the truck, and you lock hands underneath the belly, and you catch an ear, and the pig is squeaming, and you lift him up. That was a heavy pig, or bags of grain, or bags of fertilizer. But now I won't do that, because I use my reason. I say, I can't do that. I can't afford to do that with the way my back is. I have to treat it more gently. It's almost done 7 decades of service. Give it a chance, you know. So reason is very important, but sometimes we have to be watching that our reason doesn't block faith and block trust. When you give 5 loaves and 2 fish to Jesus, teaching some kids, a child that's got Down syndrome, an elderly person that only has 2 days to live, every little detail in Jesus' hand becomes a miracle of love. Every little detail we do. Even if you give a cup of water to the least of these, you will not lose your reward. And the reward is already in your heart, because it's the fire of love is growing in your heart. That fire of love that comes out from behind the clouds and lightens up the day and the world. And then there's another reaction that comes afterwards, and it's also very clear through a comment of the evangelist. And it says that they didn't, I think Jesus himself says it, right? They're coming for the bread. They didn't recognize the sign. So that opens up our eyes to another thing. Another, let's say, type of a typical default that's faulty for us. And that is that we get content with just the material, just the sensual. We have a nice society, we got nice schools, got a good bakery down the street, we got a good supermarket, we got a gas station, we got a nice car, we got good mechanics nearby if there's an issue with the car. We've got our life under control. Do we? Is it about material satisfactions only? Or are material satisfactions the most important part of life? Or do we recognize the sign in the material? Do we recognize the sign? When we see a sunrise, is it not just a delight immediately for us, but is it also a language? Like behind every gift is a giver. And we do usually say thank you. Somebody sent a card, a get well card. Somebody got out of their car in the rain and helped me with a flat tire, flat car problem. I had too many things to carry to the car, and somebody said, I'll help you. And we say thank you typically if we have a little bit of education. But thank you to the big giver. The giver who has the sunrise each morning. Some people think it's automatic, but tell me if it's automatic. It's at the right distance from us to give us life, not too close that it'll burn us up, and not a tad too far that would leave us as an Antarctic region completely. We have to deal with some extremes in the poles and in the equator, the tropics, and all the rest of it, but the sensitivity to pick up on the meaning, on the presence of somebody who gives us a present, and we say, oh, thank you, and we smile for them. And maybe even nowadays we take and do a little selfie for the moment, and say, thank you, what a beautiful moment, I don't want to forget this moment you came to visit. Yesterday we had visitors from Australia. How marvelous, so beautiful. See the joy of a father and his daughter. And, they were very happy with the visit, but I was also thrilled. I'm so grateful they came. They were present here. They didn't stay in Australia, they came. And most people appreciate that, but maybe we miss the presence of the one who gives us our life. The hand of the Lord feeds us. He gives us all we need. What a beautiful psalm today. The hand of the Lord feeds us. Okay, the trucks are driving the food. The ships are bringing it across the oceans. There's somebody in the back shops packaging it and sealing it and verifying that it's taken care of properly. The hand of the Lord feeds us. He answers all our needs. So many marvelous lessons in the readings today. And many, many, many more. Maybe one little one I'm tempted to take a minute to mention it is the ability to recognize blessings from the past. Like after Andrew, and he said, what good are these 5 loaves and 2? That was Philip. And then, but Andrew I forget, I don't have it right now in my brain, the exact order of the comments there. But this miracle happened, so there were ones who didn't see the sign, but there were some who did. To remember the little miracles that happen and the big miracles that happen in our lives, and not to forget them. What a path of growth. People, God bless you. So I encourage you to look back in your life today maybe and see little things God did, because we have to get used to God doing miracles in our lives. He does a great job. See you later, alligators.